Welcome to the desert. There are no forests, no oceans, but this is no ordinary desert. This is a desert world. And in today's video, we're gonna build our own oasis. With the help of some tech, I'll turn a piece of this wasteland into a thriving society. Join me for 100 days as we explore the desert, innovate technology, and tame the world of Desertopolis. You want to play mod packs with friends, but you can't seem to find a good server. And the free ones? With the big mod packs these days, free servers are just too laggy. Luckily for you, there's Bisect Hosting. They host my server, and with plenty of affordable options, they can host your server too. And the best part is, they support almost every mod pack. Use code Doublesal at checkout for 25% off your first order. Bisect Hosting, a great site for great servers.
Gotta love it. I think we're gonna try something different. Last time I did an ocean world, this time we're doing desert only, hardcore mode, and I'll name this world Suffer.
Like all great mod packs, this one had a ton of quests to accomplish. Many of them focused on keeping us alive in this barren wasteland. The sun was about to rise on our first day, meaning it was time to accomplish our first task, collecting these relic scraps along with understanding the way this world works. First of all, these relic scraps, you can use them to buy items from villagers, and you can even make purchases through a catalog.
Okay, what do I do first? Punch a cactus to get cactus. I want to check out that pyramid though. You know what, we have to do this quickly because I only have 7 minutes before the weather starts affecting me. Ow! Jeez, I was not expecting that.
The first step was to convert cactus into planks. This was, needless to say, a very painful process.
The goal is to make an axe, that way I don't have to keep harming myself.
With my materials, I made the very first axe made out of cactus. It didn't work that well.
Why am I still taking damage if I have an axe?
On top of my hunger, I also had to watch my water intake. If I didn't drink enough, I would start losing health, so I had to find some.
There's no water anywhere. But I do see what looks like tomatoes. Okay, well, there may be hope after all.
As great as tomatoes are, they aren't enough to protect me from the sun. I needed some protection, otherwise I was going to get a very bad sunburn. Introducing cactus armor. It's not as uncomfortable as it sounds, though it is very ugly. But hey, as long as it keeps me cool.
Okay, so I have the first remnants of cactus armor, pickaxe and the axe, and some tomato seeds.
On top of wearing cactus, you could also eat it by cutting it into cactus slices. Hence the use for the axe, which wasn't obvious at the time.
I gotta see. What was the point of making this? There are no trees, and it doesn't protect me from breaking the cactus.
To make cactus slices, you first have to craft a cutting board. Once you have the cutting board, place it on your crafting table, plop on your cactus, and slice it up with your axe. And like that, you have a delicious desert snack. But you know what beats cactus slices? Chicken. Sand chicken. A unique delicacy exclusive to this desert. For some reason, many of the chickens were taking on the properties of the blocks around them. There was also this old pyramid.
Maybe it's not wise to go in there yet, then. They thought of everything. I tried to cheat the system by breaking the sand under the cactus, but that doesn't work. Oh wait, no, it's because I have mining fatigue. Wait, for how long?
I wandered the wasteland until I came across the first sign of civilization, a desert village, which could possibly have water.
Are those chickens made out of glass? Glass chicken. I hope I didn't just, kill them into extinction. That would be really sad.
The town looked pretty abandoned, so I helped myself to the resources that were laying around.
Well, I'm a little concerned. I don't see any villagers yet. I do see a smoker. That I will take. A bed. I'll take that. Don't mind if I do. Cartography table. No trees, so why not?
There was something odd about these mountains. For some reason, they had these random pockets of color. Bright neon reds and yellows and blues. I decided to collect some to investigate their properties, and it turns out that you can actually use them to make a catalog, a place to spend your relic scraps.
You can buy dyes, spray cans, a loot box, and air. Lots and lots of air. We'll just hold off on that for now, as useful as it is. What are you guys doing right here? It's the middle of the night. The only inhabitants of this village are 2 unattended children and 1 adult. That's concerning. There's no water! No, there's not. How do you tame a camel? How do you tame a camel in Minecraft? Don't mock me for not knowing. You can ride them by equipping a saddle. That's it? Okay, well, I don't have that, so you're lucky.
As day one was coming to a close, I decided to craft the rest of my cactus armor. I made myself some cactus pants, and then from there, I wanted to make some food, seeing as how my hunger was going to start going down. But they wouldn't craft back into wheat.
Oh, no. Did they take that out? I can't do jack with this hay bale. I have to use an extractor. Extractinator.
This was the first of many road bumps.
Okay, so food may be a problem. On top of that, I can't heal because there's nothing to drink. What does the quest say? A campfire can be made from planks and sticks. Gee, never would have guessed.
While food was an issue, water was going to be easy. With the glass I got from the glass chickens, I crafted myself some bottles, which could collect water from cactus.
Okay, this is going to be easier than I thought it'd be. Okay, so that's the lesson of the day. Always have a cactus on hand, otherwise you will die of thirst.
To make any progress, I first had to craft an extractinator, an item that processes materials, but first I needed cobblestone, though my wood pickaxe wouldn't cut it because I needed a sandstone pickaxe, which I could make with hardened sandstone, though the only way to do that was to cook smooth sandstone in a fire. So I crafted a campfire, placed it down, took the sandstone that I had, and began to cook it. Once the flames smoothed out the blocks, I could then use the materials to craft the first sandstone pick.
And like that, we have a sandstone pick. When I say we, even though I'm playing single player, I'm talking about you guys too. You guys are included in the video.
With the cobblestone, I could finally make a furnace, but it needed fuel. Thankfully, there was a solution. You cook cactus on a campfire and it becomes mini charcoal, so I was gonna need a lot of cactus.
Are these cactus chicken? Ow! Jeez! This is an abomination. Like, this is where science goes too far. A leather chicken. Because cow chicken didn't sound good enough?
With the mini charcoal, I was able to make regular sized charcoal, and from there I was able to make stone for my extractinator. There was only one problem. It's not made out of stone, it's made out of terracotta, which meant I needed to find a Badlands biome.
Thank God, they knew I needed it. Okay, so one of the rewards was a map to a Badlands biome. I don't know how far that is, but it's got to be pretty far because I'm a dot in the corner. I guess I'm going on an expedition.
Please ignore the fact that I didn't notice the terracotta that was right in this village.
Navigating in Minecraft has never been my forte, so bear with me here.
Shortly after, I found another village with more terracotta, which I didn't see.
Oh, this is the jackpot right here. Oh my goodness. Okay, we got a quiver, more relic scraps, apples, a sword. Okay, I don't need this. Oh, this is a lifesaver. I think I'll go down there when I have something other than cactus armor. Look at me. I'm wearing leaves and vines. Is that a blighted enemy? If you play RL Craft, you know all about blighted enemies. They're not something you want to mess with, especially in hardcore when you have nothing. Do I dare? Oh my god, they're right there. Was wondering where they were.
I was pretty happy to find this pillager tower for two reasons. One, wood is rare, and two, this place had to have some loot. I boxed myself in and went for the chest.
Alright, fingers crossed. Something great. Well, I don't know what I'm looking at. Okay, let's see. I have a loot capacitor. Don't know what that is. I'll take it though. There is a magic mirror. Gears, I won't take that. Carrots, that I will take.
After smashing these bottles of XP, it was time to chop down the logs because I don't know if you've noticed, but trees are a little rare in this desert world, so I collected as much as I could carry.
Oh my god! Run! Okay, can I do anything with apples before I eat them all? I can make a spawn egg?
This was definitely a recipe I was gonna save for later.
No way, it's that easy. Okay, yeah, we're not eating these apples, and if I can do that, I wonder what else I can do. Oh! I went too far. Village number 3. What do you have for me? I hate when I say something and it unintentionally rhymes.
Don't forget to boil your water.
Why do I have parasites? Did the water go bad?
Trust me, boil the water. Anyways, after a long journey, I finally found the Badlands biome I needed, plus a bonus.
Now, me going into this building could end very badly. I mean, come on, this is obviously a trap. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but my cactus poncho, like, everything is getting browner. They're drying out. Is this not a trap? I guess. Ah! Why am I on fire? What was that? I'm going to die. I'm hearing gas noises. I have no idea. I'm so, like, confused right now. Was that a fluke? Did that just happen for no reason? You'll have to excuse me for my extra sense of caution. I just don't understand why I burst into flames for no reason. Okay, we're going to play it safe. We are going to play it safe. And on top of that, I'm running out of inventory space. But I did see that I could make a backpack. All I need is leather. And to get leather, I can use bundled flesh. That's easy. I have rotten flesh here. I can get that. Everything that doesn't stack is going to go in here.
Seeing as how these chests were loaded with loot, making a backpack was an absolute priority.
I feel like I'm being too careless right now opening these chests the way I am, but to make a backpack, I need string. Is there any alternative source aside from spiders? Be generous now. Oh, that's a cave spider. Oh, I did not know that. Oh, this is not good.
Who would have thought that getting such a simple item would be so difficult? I was putting my life on the line just for a couple of pieces of string.
There are normal spiders in the desert, and I am surrounded by blazes. Well, I'm not surrounded, but there are plenty. Ugh, they see me. Be generous. And you weren't generous at all. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Pro, why right now? I don't need you anymore. I got what I needed. I'm out. See ya. Ah, you gotta be kidding me. I thought I was gonna die. Is that not a thing? I thought in hardcore poison kills you. The moment of truth. Oh my goodness, you guys have no idea how good it is to have a backpack. I don't even remember what we had to come here. What were we doing? Oh yeah, we needed terracotta. Okay, well we have the backpack now, so transporting it home should not be a problem. And seeing as how wood is scarce, I wonder if we can take these with us. Yes, we can. Also some bones. I don't know if I'm going to need them, but you know what? Farming seems like it's going to be pretty important, so why not? I know that if you step in oil in some mod packs, you get the status effect called flammable. And seeing as how I just randomly burst into flames, I'm not trying to become a human marshmallow. Jeez, my inventory got full fast. Okay, well, this is as good as any right here. Assuming I don't need anything else. Assuming I don't have to craft anything else with this. Let's just check. Ooh, no, actually, it's good that we checked. With the extractinator, you actually get copper, coal, and clay by grinding terracotta. So, I'm beginning to question if I should even go back to the village. This is our home now. I think this is going to be our base.
I crafted the extractinator, placed it in the cave I made, and began processing the terracotta I had collected. With the terracotta being broken down, I was being given multiple types of resources.
Okay, well, I guess we have copper, coal, and clay, which is good. But we're gonna have to mine a ton of this stuff here.
On top of that, I decided to make a cactus farm, seeing as how it was my only supply of wood and water. I did have to space them out a little because when you mine a cactus, there's a chance it'll fall into another cactus and be disintegrated.
There you go. I like this. This is cozy. I like how we have a little natural gate here, a little wall.
While mining for more terracotta, I made a beautiful discovery.
Oh, this is great. Look at this formation. Yeah, this is our little courtyard right here. Yeah, I can do like a little, like in Star Wars, you know, the Lars homestead, where Luke was living before he became a Jedi.
Seeing as how I was starting to settle in, it felt appropriate to add some doors to protect myself from the enemies. I even added a creeper head to block the window. With that, it was time to innovate.
Oh my god, there's vein miner. I completely forgot.
Thanks to the vein miner, I collected massive quantities of terracotta, which meant I had plenty of copper. All I had to do was process it into ingots, and that would complete the chapter. But first, I had to make a brick furnace, an item used to make a blast furnace.
And now we wait for the clay to be smelted into bricks. That way I can make the brick furnace. In the meantime, while I'm waiting for that, let's clear out the sand. Now, if I'm a maniac, I think I would attempt to actually make this a perfect circle, but we're just going to work with the natural land generation. Okay, it's coming together. It is coming together. As for this is ready.
I took the bricks I had, made the brick furnace, and with some brick blocks, I was able to upgrade it into a brick blast furnace, a more efficient tool that can be used to smelt ores into ingots. Then I placed it into the wall, which finally made this official. I was home.
We put the copper in and let the magic happen. Beautiful. We just completed a chapter. What is my reward? Nothing.
With the beginning of Chapter 2, I was going to need more materials, like wood, so I decided to craft a recommended item, a sapling grower. It helps you make trees.
So, I'm assuming that this is just bone meal on a stick, and I'm assuming we need dirt. Is there a way to get dirt? No.
Discouraged that I had no dirt, I decided to take a side quest.
Yeah, let's make the canteen. The bottle system it's okay, but it's annoying because they don't stack.
While tackling the canteen issue, I also wanted to look into crafting armor. Not leather armor, copper armor.
Now the question, does copper provide cooling? No, it actually makes you hotter. Metal conducts heat. Let's just make some copper tools then.
After crafting tools, I noticed that the leather was done drying, so I took it, crafted myself a canteen. Now I just had to figure out how to get water in it. Unlike the bottle, I couldn't scoop water out of the cactus with the canteen. Maybe I could scoop water from a cauldron.
I need iron. Okay, so we're sticking with the bottles. The idea was that I would pour the water into the cauldron with the bottles, but can't make that, so... Okay, so now that we have this accomplished, it's time to move on to the Age of Iron.
The first step of Chapter 2 was to collect deep slate. We needed a lot of it. Reason being, when you break deep slate in the extractinator, you get iron ore, along with some lapis. So I had to dig a tunnel all the way down to the deep slate layer to get some.
Alright, deep slate. It's purple out of the way. Now, it would be foolish to mine this deep slate while I'm standing on deep slate, so I'm going to play it safe and stand on cobblestone. That way, when I do the vein miner, I don't accidentally fall into a pit of lava. Will I get iron? Why isn't this working? Oh, it's got to be the smooth deep slate. Guess we're waiting a little longer.
To pass the time, I cleaned up the courtyard a little more so I could start building.
I'd say that's nice and leveled. Only problem is that I have these columns sticking out of the ground, but maybe we can put some use to them. Alright, here we go. We're getting lapis and iron. Lots of iron, actually. Wow. That's a lot of lapis, too. And with that, we have a whopping 28 iron ore. Yeah, we're definitely going to want to make a hopper. That way I can just automate the items into the extractor. Is that we have to make a flopper? Like a hopper, but for fluids. There's dirt here! How do I use this? Saplings can be crafted by using moss balls and dead bushes.
So it turns out that the sapling grower just grows the trees. The saplings I gotta make. But first, I had to actually build myself a base. Living in a cave was not for me.
Maybe I'll build a pyramid, but that just seems a little too generic. Like, I feel like if you do a desert video, of course you're going to build a pyramid, and I don't want to do what everyone else is doing, so... Okay, so we're going to have a nice glass wall and ceiling right here. I guess I'm going to do something a little generic. For the floor, I'm just going to do a checkered pattern. Nice checkered terracotta. I like this. I think this is good. And as we progress in the video, the more detailed this place is going to get. But for now, nice little room. No interest in fighting you today. You want to fight? Come through the cactus. See how good your tracking is. Oh my god, it's really good. Oh my god, that was too close. I don't know how we got two in there. I wish I had a better door. I would love to have an acacia door, but this is fine for now. Yeah, this is okay for now, I guess. I mean, I'm not crazy about the design, but it'll work. I was beginning to, like, really enjoy the pattern, but then I realized that it's kind of giving McDonald's vibes, so I think I'm going to change the design. Yeah, I can't stop thinking, like, golden arches now. It's the red and the yellow. That's what it is. Oh, well. I guess McDonald's is a little Egyptian. They got McDonald's in Egypt, right?
It took a little while, but the base was finally coming together. I had a roof over my head and some simple storage.
That'll do it. That's actually perfect. Okay, I think we're going to be having a good time in this place. So, here's what I have so far. Nice little window to look into the courtyard. I used blocks that were sourced from the area. That way we could just blend in nicely. Even though this place is giving me a McDonald's vibes because of the color scheme, it's something I can look past. I mean, I should have thought about this earlier, but red and yellow are a nice pair. As for storage, I was a little concerned when I added these columns because I didn't think there was going to be space for the chests. I broke a block into the wall, and now the chests actually go into the wall, so we have these double chests here. I think we're going to repurpose this into a garden.
I spent the next few days gathering as many resources as possible. I needed a ton of iron, and deep slate was the way to get it. As for the iron chapter, all that was left was to craft a bucket. I threw one together, and with that, Chapter 2 was complete. The Age of Iron was coming to a close. The next chapter was going to focus on strainers, and the first thing I had to craft was something called a flopper. Basically, a fluid hopper. All you need is a bucket, 3 ingots, and like that, you have a flopper. Next, I had to craft something called a squeezer, that way we could make more items, plus a fluid tank. That way we could store liquids such as water, lava, and anything else. I then gathered some cactus, and with the cactus, I was able to take it to the squeezer and press all of the water right out of it. You jump on top, sometimes it leaves green dye, but when you put a tank next to it, the cactus drains all of the water into the tank. So now we actually have water. This was a massive breakthrough. With water, we could make plants with the drying table by waterlogging it. And the first of these plants? Moss. Mossy stone to be exact, but first, some iron armor. After all, the Age of Iron was very prosperous, so why not get an upgrade? I was feeling a little brave, so I wanted to go blaze hunting. After all, one of the requirements for this chapter was to get a bucket of lava, and the only way to do that was by squeezing blaze rods in a squeezer. Naturally, the blazes were being a little selfish with their drops, plus I had to deal with the other mobs that were getting in my way. I came across a small colony of blazes all crowding together, and of the 3, only one of them dropped a single blaze rod, which I crafted into 2 blaze powder. I put the fluid tank next to the flopper, reset the squeezer, jumped on top of it, and with that, the blaze rod was compressed into lava. Somehow that makes sense, but now we had lava. Not a bucket's worth, but just enough to get the achievement. With that complete, it was time to make moss. I was gonna have to waterlog the drying table. Once that was done, I added some stone, and over time, the stone was slowly converted into mossy stone. I guess the water grew the moss or something, I don't know what the science is, but with that mossy stone, all you have to do is place it down and you get a moss ball. This item, though it seemed insignificant, was crucial to making a sapling. The next item I needed were some dead bushes, which I collected with shears. And once I had plenty of dead bushes, it was time to go back to the crafting table and figure out which sapling I wanted to make. There were so many variations, but in the end I decided to play it safe and go with the simple oak sapling. Once I had the sapling, I took it outside and cautiously looked around because I kept hearing gas noises. Once I dismissed it, I placed the moss block down, added the sapling, and with the sapling grower, the tree grew instantly. I now had logs, access to wood and apples, and even more saplings. But one of the more important items were the leaves. With some shears, I collected as many leaves as possible because it was the only way to get dirt. Once I had plenty of leaves, it was time to craft a few blocks. With the leaves, I crafted them in an O shape to make 6 dirt blocks. But we weren't done with moss yet. With it, we could make grass. Once we got the grass, we could then add it to the dirt blocks to make a grass block. So for now, it was time to grow grass on the moss with a little bit of bone meal. Then you take the shears, you collect the grass, and then it's as simple as taking that sheared grass, placing it on top of a dirt block, and that's it. You have a grass block. The next sapling I wanted to craft was required, that being a mineral sapling. Mineral trees are very special. Not only are they pretty, but they provide valuable resources that allow you to craft more complicated machines. Speaking of machines, I also had my eyes set on a resource generator, a block that generates infinite blocks of not just cobblestone, but any type of stone. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We have a mineral tree to grow. After clicking it with the sapling grower, a beautiful blue tree sprouted from the moss. It dropped a ton of mineral berries along with another special item, this one being called mineral chunks. These crystallized mineral chunks were essential for the machines I was talking about, and we were going to have to farm them eventually. Another valuable item that mineral creates is something called mineral resin. To get the mineral resin, you have to crush the log in the squeezer. Then it secretes the sap. That's the mineral resin. It's very important that we have enough mineral resin because we're going to use it later in a machine called a squeezer. That's what it looks like when you pour it out. Basically looks like blue lava. Speaking of lava, we needed to collect at least a bucket's worth if we were going to craft this generator. So I made myself a shield, put on my brave face, and ventured off into the caves. There I would find some lava, that way I could make my generator. The caves are very dangerous, and I don't like going into them during hardcore playthroughs, but I had no choice. Once I had my bucket of lava, I returned to the safety of my home, crafted the resource generator, and from there, it was time to see how exactly this was going to work, because infinite stone, that can be pretty useful. So I placed a block on top of it and it turned blue. That had to mean something, right? When I placed a chest, I was expecting items to enter, but that didn't happen. In order to figure this out, I had to do a little tinkering, so I put together a hopper, and once I had that, I placed it under the resource generator, and underneath that, a chest. And it took a little while, but eventually, blocks were being generated. Was there a way to speed this up? There was. Turns out that you can place a type of resource block above the block you're generating. For example, iron, it'll only take 6 seconds to generate deep slate if you have an iron block above it. If you have a diamond block, it'll generate even faster. It's a little confusing, but you'll get it when we get further. I made an entire room dedicated to these resource generators. I was going to have a whole hall full of them generating multiple types of stone. The first one being deep slate because, as you know, deep slate generates iron as well as lapis. A wonderful invention, but there were more to make, like the spawner.
Okay, so one of the things I want to do is eventually get a horse, and I remember seeing that we could make a horse spawn egg. For that we need a summoning block, and for a summoning block, 3 wheat and a hay bale. Okay, I don't think I've ever actually seen a source of grass anywhere, except from making the grass ourselves. I guess we're gonna have to do that. I guess we'll have to make more of the stone. Actually, you know what? That could be a use for the second resource generator. We make a lot of stone, then we make moss. Then with the moss, we can make grass. Now we have automatic stone. We have automatic deep slate, which is thriving from what I can see.
With the stone that was being generated, I made more mossy stone, though it was taking a while to make enough moss blocks, so I put it on hold.
Okay, so we'll put the grass on hold for now. The horse is not that important, but it's nice to have. So while we're waiting for that, let's look at the wooden strainer. So the first thing we need is a wooden strainer, and it's like an extractinator. So we need mineral and a mesh. We have plenty of mineral logs. How do we make a mesh? It is exactly like the crafting recipe for the ocean block mod pack. Okay, we need string. Is there a way I can make a sheep spawn egg? It seems like every close call I've had involved getting string. As far as I'm aware, there is no other way to obtain it aside from killing spiders. Okay, you know what? Never mind. We are going to wait for this.
I was going to have to grow some wheat if I wanted to make a sheep spawn egg, which meant I had to break as much grass as possible to increase my chances of getting a seed. The only problem was that no matter how many grass blocks I broke, they weren't dropping seeds. So I had a theory. Maybe seeds only drop from grass grown on dirt blocks. So I was going to have to make some grass blocks with dirt. That was the only way to get the wheat.
Wheat seeds. Oh, that's much more grass. There we go. Perfect. All according to plan.
All that was left to do now was to actually take the seeds and grow them into wheat. With a little bit of bone meal, that task was completed quickly. And once I had the wheat, it was finally time to craft my hay bale for the spawner.
And now for the moment of truth. And like that, we have a summoning block. Thank God. Let's go. We'll try a sheep first. Just like that? Okay, we have a sheep.
Now that I had the sheep, it was time to shear them, and with the shears I would get a wool block which I could convert into string. Though the sheep were being a little selfish with their drops. Only 1 block of wool.
Do they only drop 1 at a time? I guess they do. Oh, but there's a problem. It's not going to grow back unless they eat grass. I'm glad that occurred to me. Now and not later. Okay, I had a little hunch that till dirt was not the same as regular dirt, so I'm glad it was correct. Okay, so let's fill this out with dirt, and then we'll place the 1 grass block that we have. That way it starts spreading, because I don't feel like making more grass blocks.
Once I had all the dirt placed, I included the grass blocks, and the grass started growing naturally. Then I took the wool, pressed it in a squeezer, and with that I finally had my string. With the string, I could finish crafting the mesh, which was an essential item if I was going to create the strainer, though I needed a little more wool.
Can you give me more than 1 wool, please? More than 1 wool, please. Thank God. Okay, here we go. 2 mesh, 2 sticks, and a strainer. Perfect. We have our strainer. How the heck do we use it? I don't think that's how we do it. Mesh. And now logs. Is it going to work? Okay, so far it's like 1 out of 3. So now we wait, I guess.
There were different ways to go about straining items. For example, with a gold mesh, instead of getting 1 chunk, you could get 2 chunks. One of the many possibilities. But gold meshes were, well, expensive. To add on that, there were different tiers of meshes, like the quartz mesh, which was tier 4. But to get quartz, I had to convert the chunks in a charger. And to make a charger, well, it was quite the process. For starters, I needed a source of energy. So the first thing I had to do was craft an energy battery. Thankfully, to make an energy battery, it was pretty simple. Mineral chunks, mineral blocks, and some redstone. The only problem is I don't have redstone. At least for now. To get it, I had to craft mulch. To craft this item, all you need is dirt and some leaves. You Place the dirt in the middle, surround it with leaves, and with that you have a mulch block, basically green dirt. With the mulch, you're going to craft something called eroding salt mulch, basically like a dust or something. Then you take the dust, click it against a mulch block, and it turns into this type of grayish water. It's called eroding water. I took a bucket of the water, put it in the strainer, added an iron mesh, which I was able to craft earlier, and with the chunks, it was turned into redstone.
Okay, so it looks like we have plenty of redstone now, which means I make a redstone block, which is exactly what they want me to do. I think I'm going to make an energy battery. 2 blocks, redstone in the center, flanked by crystals on the side, with a supply of 1 million RF potential.
I made 2 batteries, and with the second one, I combined it with a furnace to craft a generator. This would be my source of power. With the generator, all I had to do was add coal, and power would be added to the energy battery.
Okay, seems to be powering the battery. Unless my eyes are deceiving me, there seems to be a little indicator of how much charge it has. Yeah, I see it climbing. Okay, well, while that's doing its thing, let's move on. Fluid pipes. Oh, we are going to need a lot of redstone. Okay.
I have here a second strainer. This one is going to continue producing more mineral. Okay, so here we go.
This is our setup so far. We have 1, 2, 3 strainers, each producing mineral, this one producing redstone, although this one has sort of bottlenecked, seeing as how there's nowhere near enough mineral chunks to produce the redstone levels that we need. That's why I built 2 of these. As for the battery, still going, 317,000 KFE.
While the battery was generating power, I had to craft the means to transfer that power, hence the energy pipe. With some redstone and iron, I crafted 32 of them. Once I had the energy pipe, I placed it down to see how it would work, and it was pretty simple to configure, even broke with the hand. Next, I had to make the item pipe, similar to the energy pipe, but this one moves items from chest to chest. Then I crafted the fluid pipe, that was self-explanatory, and like that, I had all of the pipes. Each one. You could even combine them to make one super pipe that did all 3 functions. The only reason I crafted this one was because it was a requirement to complete the chapter, but in my opinion, I don't think it's worth it. It takes a lot of redstone, and well, I mean, unless you're really into making pipes and complicated machines, I didn't see a use for it. Next, I crafted a wrench to actually configure the pipes, and with that, I finished the chapter. With the chapter of strainers coming to a close, it was time to enter the next one, the Age of Gold. And wouldn't you know it, to open up this chapter, we had to make a charger. Making the charger was very simple, and now we had the means to actually power it up. Once I had the charger set up, all I had to do was configure the wires to connect it from the battery to the machine itself. Power wasn't funneling though. It took a little while to figure out, but it turns out that you have to toggle the ends of the pipes to actually have the transferred energy. Once the chunks were inside, they were converted into quartz. And now that I had my quartz, I could make quartz mesh. But that's not all. I could make blackstone as well. By charging mineral blocks, they were converted into blackstone, which was going to be used to generate gold nuggets. I added it to a resource generator, that way we could generate infinite amounts of it. Then I would take those amounts, put them in the strainer that I added, then the block would be converted. But before we go any further, here's the setup for the room. I had multiple strainers producing multiple items. Each strainer was extremely important, and now it was the blackstone's turn. The blackstone was turned into gilded blackstone, and once it was gilded, I put it in eroding water, and it produced gold nuggets. With the item pipes I crafted earlier, I created a system that would allow me to funnel blocks from one end, that being the chest, across the room, into the other end, that being the strainer. Lastly, I wanted to increase the production of blocks, and it turns out that crystallized mineral produces blocks faster than iron, at 4 seconds compared to iron's 6 seconds. But the upgrades didn't stop there. Using the item pipes I had, I was able to funnel all of my resources into the blast furnace to have them auto-smelt. I even wanted to upgrade my meshes, which had their own individual upgrades, each with our own properties. For example, this upgrade that I was making, it increased the durability of the meshes. I wanted to increase the durability as much as possible, seeing as how it was getting broken way too quickly. So, with a ton of meshes, I was able to combine them all and make what was called an improved mesh upgrade. With the improved mesh upgrade, I added even more meshes to make basically improved mesh upgrade V2. This was a reinforced mesh upgrade. Once you add them, it can increase the durability or even the drop rate for the items that are being processed. Yes, as you can see, there are lots of them. It's a little complicated, but it's fun once you get the hang of it. Now that I had enough gold, it was time to make a gold ingot. And once I had the gold ingot, the chapter Age of Gold was complete. Gotta say, we were making progress pretty fast. Now that I had the gold, I was able to make myself the gold mesh, which was able to produce 2 crystallized mineral chunks instead of the usual 1. Now things were about to get a little more complicated if they weren't complicated enough. This next chapter dabbled in applied energistics, which is a mod that intimidates me. It was such a big deal that I had to make an entire room dedicated to it. I was so occupied with the task that I didn't notice I was burning up. That's not something you want to happen. This is what happens when your cactus armor isn't on. You start overheating, and that hurts a lot. I put the cactus armor back on and continued my work to finish the applied energistics room. This was going to have a nice checkered floor, and I tried to keep the design true to the original room I had made earlier, though it was much bigger. And it had to be, because the machines we were about to make were going to take up so much space. Like that Blaze, and this pig, who just happened to appear out of nowhere. I don't know where these guys came from. To complete the room, I added a glass ceiling.
Okay, so we have to tackle the silicon blend, made from gold nuggets. Of course it is. For that we need plenty of sand. Getting sand should not be a problem given our circumstances. Fingers crossed it's safe outside. Thank God for Vein Miner. That should be enough. I wonder if this is a vanilla world generation or if it's modded. If it's vanilla, I'm amazed. I've never actually explored Badlands biomes thoroughly like this or lived in one.
With the sand, quartz, and gold, I was able to make a silicon blend. With it, I could craft a couple of items, like this quartz-enriched iron, along with some Certus quartz. This is the recipe for the iron, and this is the recipe for the Certus quartz. Simple stuff, but useful.
We have the silicon blend. Let's start by making the iron first, and then we'll do the Certus quartz after. Lovely. At least we get 5 ingots, though. 25, well, let's just go with 30. There we go. Okay, so we have 30 of these, and now we need Certus quartz. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Okay, we have the Certus quartz crystal and the quartz-enriched iron, which leads us to the silicon. But for the silicon itself, made from charging silicon blend. Guess we're gonna have to make more chargers then. Thankfully, I have this beautiful room where I have plenty of space to add all of these additions. We're gonna put the chargers here and any other nonsense that we have to do with applied energistics. This mod always intimidates me, but this time we're gonna see it through to the end.
To inaugurate the room, I crafted a basic charging station. Here I would charge items such as the Certus quartz into charged Certus quartz and the silicon blend into silicon itself.
Okay, so here we have the charged Certus quartz crystal along with the silicon. How many quantities of each we need, I will not know until we get there, but I think we have a safe number for now. And now, scriber, used to make processors. That's expensive. Okay, well, what are you gonna do about it? 4, silicon press, looks like a microchip. I think it's just a mold to make the chips. And now I have to make a raw processor? Mineral, redstone dust, silicon, and an item I don't recognize. Please be something simple. Processor binding, which is from a slime ball. Okay, that's not that bad. I have 1 slime ball.
Once I crafted some slime binding, I was able to create the rest of the processors. The first one being the advanced one, then the lower tier being the gold one, and finally the lowest of the low being the basic one.
We have all 3 basic chips right here. Raw basic processor, improved processor, and advanced processor. So I need slime balls. Thankfully there is a solution. To do this, I have to get cactus, place it in eroding water, and well, that's about it. The iron mesh should be able to make some.
Took a couple of minutes, but eventually I was able to make some slime balls. With it, I crafted sticky pistons, and with the sticky pistons, I put together an inscriber, the next machine required. With it, I could make the advanced processors, but first I had to make these silicon chips. All I had to do was place the silicon into the inscriber and the chips were produced. Once the chips were produced, I then had to combine them with the raw processors and a little bit of redstone. Once those items were combined, we had the processor, and here's the iron chest I was going to store them in. But it wasn't big enough, so I upgraded it to a gold chest, and look at all that storage. Plenty of space for a bunch of items that I'm never going to use. I'm not kidding. I don't think I used any of them. But yeah, here I am making Certus quartz. Well, at least I tried. It was a fail, but that's okay, because we had to make Fluix crystals. I think that's how you say that. This is the recipe to make them, and basically you dump all of these items into the water, and like that you have a Fluix crystal. A purple crystal that has a couple of properties, but in this case we needed it in dust form. Once you have it in the dust form, well, you can make a lot of things, like this energy battery or glass. I decided to make this energy battery, not that I needed to store power, but it was a necessary item for another crafting recipe, something called an entropy manipulator. The entropy manipulator is a fantastic tool, but first you have to charge it if you want to use it. Once it has plenty of charge, well, basically, all you have to do is click a block and it auto-smelts it for you. Like that. The entropy manipulator had so many applications in this world, but I just wanted to mess around with it just for a little bit. I even turned sand into glass just to get a better look at some illagers. They weren't going to get out. They could see me, I could see them, and that was it. With dust, I was able to convert an apple into a chorus fruit. Not that that was useful, but it's what I needed to complete the chapter. And with that complete, the chapter was finished, and it was time to move on to the next one, the compressed stage. We were going to have to work with air pressure.
Okay, so I did some modifications to this room. I added 4 more strainers, each one making mineral crystals. They're all full of mineral planks. And slowly but surely we're going to have a nice stockpile of the stuff, which means that I can make more of the energetic stuff over here. What I want to do is link all of these chests and have access to them in one terminal. So first I'm going to make a item interface. Easy enough. Next is the logic cable. This is basically going to act as the link between each chest. You just throw together some sticks and some crystals, and that's about it. You're good to go. Okay. And now we just link them all together.
Thank God I learned how to do this in my last video, which I highly recommend you watch if you haven't. But finish this one first.
There we go. Okay, so they're connected. And now we have to have a point to access them. That is the terminal. And that is actually going to be a little challenge as we don't have glowstone. How do we get glowstone? Oh my goodness. So I'm going to have to do all of this just to get some fused alloy. With the fused alloy, I combine it with deep slate or any type of stone to get dull stone. And then with dull stone, I'm supposed to put it in a sag mill and it produces glowstone. To do any of that, we have to move on to the next chapter. Compressed. Crouch right click on a block of iron with the entropy manipulator to obtain a compressed iron. Okay, so I have the block of iron right here. Entropy manipulator, and please give me a block. And it's only 3 ingots. Okay. In other mod packs, you would have to blow it up with TNT. I kind of prefer this system, although I think the only drawback is that you don't get as many. For every 9 ingots that I use, I only get 3 back. Next, we have to make a pressure tube.
Making the pressure tubes were simple. 2 compressed ingots on each side with some glass in the middle. Then I took some more iron blocks and made myself even more compressed ingots. Expensive but necessary.
Of course, we have to make an air compressor. And for that, we need reinforced brick. Okay, so I have to make reinforced stone. So the ingot in the middle, stone around, reinforced stone right there. Okay. Furnace, bricks, and pressure tube. Beautiful. Air compressor. Alright, so this is going to make pressurized air. All we need is a place to hold that pressurized air, which means we're going to probably have to make a pressure chamber.
To build the pressure chamber, of course, I had to get the pressure chamber wall blocks, and there were a couple of other blocks as well, like the interface and the valve. Once I had all of the blocks, all I had to do was construct them in a corner, and from there we would be generating lots of pressure to convert items from one thing to something else. It's a beautiful multi-block structure, a little complicated, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy to use.
Okay, so as you can see, I put some coal in here, and it started making air pressure. You can even redirect it. Okay, so stuff is going to come out here. This goes in here, comes out through here, and then this, we'll put this right here, and connect it like so. Okay, it's time to test if this is actually going to work. Fingers crossed it does. So I'm going to need some gold and some redstone dust. 2 redstone, 1 gold ingot. And now it would seem that pressure is being built. Some of the gold was sucked in. I wish there was a way I could look inside. Maybe I should make it bigger. Not enough pressure. Apply more pressure to the pressure chamber. I think we're going to have to make more air compressors. Instead of putting the items in, let's just let the air pressure build up. That should help. So while we're waiting for that to just do its thing, let's craft the other items, like the refinery output. I accidentally made something called a scorching iron block. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this, but I would like to cool it down. Maybe if I dump it in water.
As it turns out, that scorching iron block would prove to be way more useful than it seems. We'll get to that later, because right now I had to craft myself a Fluix block. With the Fluix block, I was going to use it to make something new. This new item was going to be called a refinery output. With the refinery output, we were going to use it to refine oil. You see, this world was littered with crude oil, and we could refine it to make different types of fuel in the refinery controller.
Use to process a fluid into different fluids. By default, oil is processed into diesel, kerosene, gasoline, and or LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. So this is basically going to split oil into a bunch of different things. Oh my gosh, that is an interface. Wow. No input fluid, not enough refineries, poorly insulated.
Going back to the scorching iron block, this machine needs heat to work. It won't run without it. So you have to cover each face of the machine with a scorching iron block. Or anything that creates heat, like lava or magma blocks.
Okay, the temperature's rising. Okay. So we have to keep it hot, and the only way we can do that is with these blocks that I accidentally made. So you just click, and they become hot. So the max temperature we have right now... Oh, it's cooling. Oh, so it's limited. Okay, the temperature's rising again. We've reached a maximum of... looks like a little over 400, 450. It's climbing to 500. Can we push it higher? Okay, it's doubled again. So we have to insulate it somehow. 10 of 24 block faces are exposed to the air, which wastes heat. I have the solution to that. We'll put this here. Just like that. And now... Oh, it's... Oh my god! Oh, we're losing pressure fast. I should have been paying attention. Okay, well, that's what happens. That's why you watch it. Because if you have too much air pressure, it went over 5 bars at the top. Can you see it dropping? It's dropping. It explodes. Now you know. Wow, that sucks. I have to make another one. That's why we need the security upgrade. The security upgrade is something that you put in the machine, and it spits, it like puffs out air every once in a while so that the pressure doesn't get maxed out. Okay, let's make another compressor. Let's try this again. This time, we'll watch it like a hawk. Yeah, the next thing I have to make is dripstone as well. Should be pretty easy to do. Compressed stone. And with the fluid generator, what can I make? Lava, oil, or water. It'd be nice to make lava. We'll let it get to 3 bars. Once it gets to 3 bars, we'll be good. As for this, as you can see, the temperature is dropping, but let's do this again. When it's insulated, it rises pretty quickly. So we've just topped 500. We're above 600 now, going to 800. Can we make it to 1,000? Okay, we're at 3.35 bars of pressure. Let's add all of our stuff now. This better work. I heard a pop. We have a turbine blade. Okay, we stick another gold in there. There we go. That's what we want. Okay, we have 7 turbine blades. That's it. We're done. Get the gas leak out there. Get the coal. And we are finished for now. Okay, ignoring the noise that's blasting in the background, we're going to craft a turbine rotor. Now that we have the turbine rotor, it's time to make the fluid mixer. Can be used to mix fluids together using gasoline, kerosene, blah, blah, blah. You can make coal fully automated. Oh, so we can make coal. Nice. I kind of regret taking the pressure out because I kind of want to make more iron ingots and, well, compressed iron ingots. I want to make more compressed iron ingots, and I can do it in the pressure chamber. Instead of having to sacrifice a whole block, I can probably do the whole thing without losing any. So, guess we're going to do this again.
Okay, here we go. Let's just pop these in and see if it works. Just pop that there before it all goes away. So far we have 12. Wow, not bad. That's great turnout, actually. More than I thought. So it's 4 ingots every time. Okay, I'm a little concerned because it's been a couple of minutes. I put at least 50 ingots in here, and only 25 have come out so far. And that's it. It's not making any more. The pressure's going up, which leads me to believe that this is empty. So where did the rest of my ingots go? Because it doesn't talk about a success rate on here. It's 1-to-1. For every 1 ingot you get 1 compressed iron ingot outside. So I think I just wasted a stack. Let's try it again. Let's do 1 at a time. Oh. No, there they are. Okay, I don't know what the delay was. That was scary. All right, there we go. 50, 62 actually. Nice. So here's the small fluid tank right here. And now that I have that, finally make the fluid mixer. Okay, moment of truth. The time has come to craft a fluid mixer. And with that, we have one. Where's my achievement? There it is. How do I even power it? Actually, let's finish this. Let's make these. So we're going to make our solar panels now. I got some gold here. Let's shoot for making at least 3.
Despite being a wasteland, why not try to save the planet with a solar panel?
It has to be in direct sunlight, so... I mean, I guess this is direct sunlight, right? Yes, it is. No power is entering it, though. Do these even need power? If not, what is this for? Good to know. Okay, well, moving on. Back to making dripstone. So, the beauty of the system is that I only need to make 1. 2 compressed stone. We have them. Now that I have this, I will combine it with the bucket, and that should make a dripstone. Right? There we go. 1 dripstone block. Perfect. Okay, now that I have the dripstone, I can make a fluid generator. All I have to do is multiply this. That should be pretty easy. Just take a little break from the black stone here. Swap it out with the dripstone block. And we just need to wait until we have 6. Alright, that's enough. We have enough. So the last thing I have to make is the automatic fluid machine, I think, and we'll be done with this chapter. So it's 2 cobblestone, 3 dripstone on each side, and a bucket. That makes me a fluid generator. Beautiful. We have just completed the chapter. Compressed. This is a really well put together mod pack. It actually, like, I don't want to say it holds your hand, but honestly, in this case, I don't mind my hand being held. This is great. The fluid generator, I can make water, oil, and lava. The big thing is oil, because with oil, we can automate coal. And once we automate coal, we can make diamond. 8 coal blocks. So we got to go find some oil. Thankfully, I remember where we once... actually, there's some oil right here. I love that you can see the base sticking out from here. Looks cool. Why did you spawn here? This is not a snow biome. How is that possible? And just like that, we have oil. Perfect. Wait a minute, I forgot there was oil right here. Okay, so much for that. Now, one thing we have to do is craft a fluid tank that can hold a large quantity of oil. So the one that we have right now is the basic portable tank. Holds 8 buckets. The expert portable tank holds 64, but we don't have diamonds for that. Why go above and beyond to do something fancy? Let's just stick to what we know. It works. What say we go do a little expedition? Let's go get some skystone. I think I know just where to get some. How did you get inside?
I swear I had enough torches. I have no idea how these things were spawning in my house.
I was in the safety of my house. How is he in here?
Okay, so the job is simple. Get the skystone from the meteor and come back alive. That is the goal.
Problem is that this biome is extremely mountainous, so hopefully getting there won't be difficult. That is a wither skeleton. I am out. The crater should be here. Is that it? Yes, we found it. Okay, there's the crater. Surrounded by lava. None. Okay, well. As you saw, there were skeletons in the area, so last thing I want to do is get shot by a skeleton in broad daylight. There we go. We got it. We're here. Oh, I forgot how long this takes. Usually there's chests inside of these. That is not a chest. Oh, okay. Well, now we have all of the stuff we need. Perfect.
I collected what few Certus quartz blocks there were, and then I took them back to the base, along with all of the skystone I had harvested. After walking through the canyon, the first thing I did when I got home was make myself some of the tanks with the skystone. The skystone tank was a pretty good thing to have, because it allowed me to start building myself an oil refinery. You see that right there? I was going to generate lots of oil with the fluid generator. Now, this first setup didn't really work. The pipes didn't connect to the generator, and that was a problem. So I ended up putting a tank under the generator and connected it to the skystone tank, and like that, oil was being transferred. Then a couple of blazes decided to spawn in my workroom, and well, that wasn't fun. One of them was enchanted, and he packed a huge punch and nearly killed me. I wasn't going to risk it, so instead of fighting him head-on, I decided to be a little sneaky and pour water on his head. Now some of you may be thinking that that's the cowardly thing to do, but come on, I had 2 hearts left. I had a ton of machines that I had already made. I wasn't going to lose this battle just to save a little honor, especially with a blaze. Then a bunch of pigs spawned. I have no idea where these things came from. Maybe it's because of the grass, but there were way too many for that to happen. At this point, the main goal was to create as many oil generators as possible. I needed to produce a ton of oil in a small span of time, and these 3 prototypes were exactly the model I was going to follow to do that. Each oil generator was creating enough oil to go into the tank. Once I had enough oil, I would separate it into different types of fuel, like diesel, gasoline, and the rest. First, I had to craft myself a ton of fluid generators. Once I had at least 10, it was time to make myself a brand new room in this base. This was going to be the oil refinery. This room, as per the name, would be responsible for all oil production as well as all oil processing. I had to make sure there was enough space for each of my oil machines because, like I said before, oil was priority. I lined the walls with fluid generators along with crystallized mineral, that way oil could be generated at a fast enough rate. Then I added the tanks underneath, and from there, all I had to do was connect them with the fluid pipes. Once they were connected with the fluid pipes, I added additional tanks, and this was basically one big funnel. All of these machines, they would funnel all of the oil that they produced into one tank. Of course, I had to get some oil to jumpstart the machine, so I got some from the pyramid that we first found. Then I added it to the oil generators, and from there, oil was slowly ticking into the central tank. That right there, that is where all the oil's going to flow. And the idea is that 10 of them can fill one tank really quickly. And they did. I had enough oil to start making the refinery controller run. All I had to do was heat up the iron blocks, and once they were heated up, the machine started filtering it out, creating different types of fuel: diesel, kerosene, LPG, and gasoline. The only annoying thing is that I had to transfer the oil 1 bucket at a time. That got really repetitive, so I had to reconfigure the oil room a little bit just so that I could have the oil funnel into the machine directly. All it took was a few fluid pipes, and after I toggled them to flow in a certain direction, everything was automated. The only thing that wasn't automated was having to heat up the iron blocks. That was the only annoying thing, but once they were warm, the oil was being processed and the fuel was being created. With the fuel being refined, it was time to make a lava generator. Lava was a very important resource, and pretty soon I was going to have to make obsidian, so why not automate it? Although using trapdoors, not my best idea, so instead to keep the lava in place, I just opted for glass pane. Plus, I think it looks a little nice. I made a second one with both generators funneling lava into one tank. Once that was complete, it was time to make some modifications to my oil refinery. I needed a way to extract the fuel while keeping the blocks insulated. Remember, this needs heat. So I added trapdoors. That way they could stay insulated, and then when I needed the fuel, I could just flip them open and extract them from the refinery. With that, I now had a means of collecting all of the different types of fuel. But what does the fuel actually do? Well, I collected some diesel along with some LPG, and I was about to put them in a new machine called a fluid mixer. With the fluid mixer, you could combine the fuels to make items. In this case, I was going to make coal. Now, to get the fluid mixer working, you have to make the pressure rise. Once the pressure rises, the machine starts to run, and as you can see, coal is being produced. It also makes other things, like combining lava and water. Well, that gives you obsidian, hence the reason I needed the lava generator. As you can see, the oil refinery and the fluid mixer, they were quite the success. And now that we had obsidian, it was time to craft a new item called a security upgrade. Do you remember when my machine exploded? Well, that's because it had too much air. With the upgrade, it keeps that from happening. I added one to the fluid mixer, and not just that. I also added some item pipes, that way we could transfer the coal from the fluid mixer straight to a chest. Once I had that finished, I made a second security upgrade. This one was going to be for the pressure chamber. Speaking of the pressure chamber, I turned the coal into coal blocks, put them in a chest that was sucked into the machine, and after a little while, the coal was pressed into a beautiful blue gem, that being diamond. That's right, we can make diamonds. Hence the reason why there was so much emphasis on the fluid mixer. So long as that thing makes coal, we're going to be making a lot of diamonds. Now that we have the diamonds, it was time to make an alloy smelter, but not before crafting a diamond pickaxe. I think it's the least I deserve. Then, the alloy smelter. All you do is put a bunch of furnaces, deep slate, and a diamond together to make what's basically a fancy furnace. This furnace is pretty big. It can smelt 3 things at a time. It can even mix them into new metals. One of them being a pulsating alloy ingot, which was a combination of iron and ender pearl fragments.
So we've entered the age of diamond, which means there are a few things I have to make, starting with this pulsating alloy ingot. Now, to make a pulsating alloy ingot, I'm gonna have to use... What is that noise? Oh, it's the security card making sure that this doesn't explode. Okay, well that's fine. I'm just gonna move over here where I can hear it. I need to make an alloy of iron and ender pearls. The only problem is that I haven't seen a single enderman, although that's usually the case when you don't leave your house. I'm gonna have to go on the hunt for some. I can talk to a cleric and trade him 5 relic scraps for 32 ender pearl fragments. Okay, and the nearest village... I know it's actually not that far. I do want to kill a blaze though in the off chance that there is no brewing stand. What is this? Oh my god! And that's an invisible spider. And I'm poisoned. And I'm being chased by a wither, and everything's on fire, and I'm poisoned. And there are 3 blazes right there! That's it, we got it.
After collecting the blaze rod, it was time to craft the brewing stand, and with that I could convert any villager into a cleric, just what I needed if I wanted to trade scraps for ender pearl fragments. I walked around the local village trying to find an unemployed villager. After morphing him into a cleric, I noticed something strange. He was trading items for relic scraps and not the other way around. I was hoping that this wouldn't be the case for the rest of the villagers, so when I hired another one, it was the same thing. I didn't want more relic scraps, I needed the mob drops.
Why are you only trading items? Rotten flesh for a relic scrap. No, I want it to be the other way around. I just don't understand. Can I spawn a zombie?
My thought process was maybe these clerics just had to level up, so I was trying to find a way to get a lot of rotten flesh, that way we could do that. I didn't have any rotten flesh on me, so I was gonna have to take a detour. That's when I saw this.
You guys see that? Is that a blazed chicken? So I discovered this other temple here, and I think this is where we're gonna get the rotten flesh from.
Just as suspected, this place had plenty of rotten flesh. More than enough to level up the villager a couple of times. That should be enough to switch up the trades, right?
No way. What are the odds of finding this? Hold on, what can I do with this? Slice and splice? And dragon's breath. That's a great find, the dragon head. Wow. Another one? Unless they're not as rare as I think they are, but that's still pretty good. Alright, let's go deal with a villager. You, right there. Stand still. You level up. And your trades didn't get any better. You're still only trading me the mob drops. I want... Like, what am I supposed to do with the relic scraps? You know what? You stay right here. You're not going anywhere.
This was a fail.
Yeah, you just stay right there. Look at that. This one also trades items for relic scraps. Yep, same thing. Wheat for relic scraps. There is a way. It's a simple way, but there is a way. All we have to do is get 1 ender pearl, which we can craft into 9 ender pearl fragments. With the 9 ender pearl fragments, we can summon 9 endermen who will drop more than just 1 ender pearl. All we gotta do is get the 1. All we gotta do is get the 1. Maybe I have one already, I don't know, but we're gonna go home and check. Actually, no! It's nighttime. This is our chance. Keeping my eye on the minimap. Is that one? Yes, that's one right there. Okay, there's an enderman south. Okay, I'm gonna play it safe though. Endermen are, well, you know, a little dangerous. And there he is. There he is. Okay, I'll just make a little roof to keep myself safe. And then you just stare at him. Here he comes. Here he comes. Alright. Perfectly safe. Yes. We are set. Let's go to bed. Okay. We're back. Now, I'm going to convert these ender pearls into fragments. Perfect. And now that they're fragments, we're going to spawn endermen. What is that mass spraying? Why do I keep seeing that? There. God, that was annoying. We're taking this. Gonna do it inside. Okay. Stone. Summoning block. Yeah, okay, we have all that. Place that there. And fingers crossed, we get more than 1 ender pearl from each enderman. Fingers crossed we get 1 ender pearl from each enderman. I'm looking at you. Okay, that's pretty good. Oh my god, that one is magic. Hello, what's this? Iron helmet and braking. That's okay. This would be a little faster if we had looting on it. And we can do looting 2. Book and quill, skeleton skull, and 6 lapis lazuli at the cost of 20 levels. With an enchanter. That does not look difficult to make. We have everything we can use to make it, but we can also get a Fluix sword. Okay, so we're going to make a Fluix sword. Get the quartz sword right here. And then from there we have to make a template, smithing template. So for that I need soaked paper, log sheets. Okay, easy. So to make log sheets we have to use pressure plates. We got to craft 4 pressure plates here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we have to make the log sheet. There we go. Now it soaks. And once it's done soaking, it's converted into soaked paper. Let's put it in the drying table to dry it out, and that should leave us with regular paper. Okay, we have paper. Now we have to make it into a special paper, I think. So we combine the paper with the crystal. That gives us our smithing template. Now we just have to make the smithing table. Smithing table should be extremely easy, assuming that the mod creator didn't change the recipe on me. Alright, here we go. So like a crafting table with 2 ingots on top, we have a smithing table, and actually, I'm going to have to make 2 of these. Yeah, I need to make 2 of these, because then I'm going to combine them to get looting 2. So it is the sword, the template, and the block, and like that, we have a Fluix sword with 6.4 attack damage. Our second one, what can you do for me? Fluix tools, similar to iron tools, have 3 times the durability and slightly higher attack. All Fluix tools act as if they have at least fortune/looting, which is useful before getting access to the enchanting table, which we don't have, by the way, so I guess that is useful. Alright, let's merge them now. Alright, everyone, please hope that this works. It doesn't work. Oh no, they knew we would try this. I guess looting 1 is better than nothing. I don't know where you guys came from. I didn't spawn you in. I don't know why you're here. But you're too noisy. Oh, it dropped 2. It actually... Okay. That's good. So I guess this was worth it. Despite my safety precautions, I nearly died. So I have to be a little more careful. On the bright side, I was able to gather 11 ender pearls. More than enough, I think. And I think we're ready to move on to making our alloy now. Before I make the alloy, I want to modify my system over here. It's getting a little annoying having to scoop up the buckets of different types of oil. So instead, I'm just going to have them linked to a fluid tank here. And then we'll toggle it to pump out all of the oil into the tanks here. There we go. Easy access now. Basically, the only reason I did this was because there were trapdoors here, and I would have to flip them open every time I wanted to scoop out the oil. But sometimes I would miss the block, and it would just close the trapdoors. So, yeah, something small, but an improvement nonetheless. Let's make the alloy. Okay, so I put in the iron ingot with the ender pearl fragment, and that makes the pulsating alloy ingot. Let's make one. Let's just see how that goes. You know what? A couple more. Now, the reason we want that is because we have to craft this pulsating crystal. And the pulsating crystal is with the nuggets and a diamond. Now, what do we use the crystal for? Grains of piezoality. What do you use grains of piezoality for? Yorium dust? Okay, so as you can see here, we have the pulsating alloy ingot. This gross green bar that looks like soap. Now that we have that, it's time to craft the pulsating crystal, and to do that we have to convert the ingot into nuggets. So, as you can probably tell by now, the further we go, the more expensive these crafting recipes are getting. We're using diamonds and ender pearl fragments and just a whole bunch of stuff. You know what, let's play it safe, let's make 2. Okay, good, they stack, perfect. And now that we have the pulsating crystal, we're gonna have to grind it into grains of piezoality. And to do that, we need a sag mill, and we can't get the sag mill until we do all of this other stuff. And just in case you didn't see it, this is the crafting recipe for the sag mill. It's basically a new and improved extractinator. So the next task we're going to do is making a dark steel ingot. Right here, the dark steel ingot. An alloy of iron, coal, and obsidian. We can do that with the primitive alloy smelter. So all I have to do is make some obsidian. That's pretty easy. Along with powdered coal and an iron ingot. So we have plenty of coal. The only annoying thing is making the obsidian, because I can't produce lava fast enough. I'm going to have to come up with a better way of getting water to where I need it to be, but for now, one bucket at a time. Okay, we have 18 obsidian. That is more than enough. Okay, so I have the powdered coal, I have the iron ingots, and the obsidian blocks. So we're going to take these fragments out, put in the iron, the obsidian, and the powdered coal. Let it burn, and once it's complete, we should have ourselves a dark steel alloy. I think that's what it's called. Dark steel? Dark steel. Yeah, we'll have dark steel. And there it is, a dark steel ingot. Looks kind of like the compressed ingot. Side by side, these two look almost identical, although this one looks a little smoother. Okay, next we have to make a void chassis. And to do that, we need something called Grains of Infinity. Grains of Infinity are a little weird. In a previous mod pack, all you'd have to do is light a deep slate on fire. It says hold some flint in your offhand and some deep slate or cobbled deep slate in your main hand. Then shift right-click a block of obsidian, cranked obsidian, or a grindstone. I'm gonna be honest, guys, I don't think I have a single piece of flint. Nor have I seen any gravel. So right now I'm breaking the cobblestone in the squeezer because there's a chance that it can drop flint. So we'll just take the gravel, place it in like so. Where is my flint? There it is. Okay. Shift right-click a block of obsidian. Oh, that's easy. Okay. We'll do it this way. Okay, so we combine the diamond with the Grains of Infinity, and then in each corner, some iron bars, and that gives us a void chassis. And I think this is the foundation for a lot of the Ender IO machines. So we're probably going to make a couple of these. Yeah, so we need it for the alloy smelter, and then we need one for the sag mill. So let's make a second one. Next is to make the machines along with another dust called fused alloy.
An alloy of compressed iron, grains of infinity, and hardened sandstone. Why am I hot? Uh-oh. Oh, I'm burning. That's not good. That's not good. This is not good. I have to make more cactus armor. I'm out of cactus. And it's like the middle of the day, so I can't go out and get more. If I can just reach that block without stepping out all the way. Okay, you know what? We're gonna have to be fast. Okay, I think we should be good now. We have the poncho and the boots. Anyways, back to the task at hand. We were gonna make a fused alloy, and this is originally what we needed to make our glowstone. Well, it makes dullstone, but you can grind that up to make glowstone for our storage system. So we're finally coming back full circle. It's been a while, but we got there eventually. So to make a fused alloy, we need hardened sandstone, and then the rest we have. So the hardened sandstone is easy. There's a quarry out here where I was collecting my sand, and I dug enough to expose a layer of sandstone. So what I'm going to do is hopefully I can cook this with the entropy manipulator and just vein mine it. Look at that, it works. Okay. I mean, of course it would. Why wouldn't it? That's so weird. It's sandstone, but when you break it, it gives you the sound of as if you were breaking a wood block. Look, listen. Huh. Odd. Okay, we have our hardened sandstone. Let's put this in the charger. We'll probably need that for later. It takes a while.
With new machines comes new crafting recipes, like the sag mill, one of the necessary tools that we're going to use to grind items up. But first, we have to craft this thing.
I'm about to craft something that sounds extremely complicated, but it's really not. The Infinity Bimetal Gear. It's just one of the components for the sag mill. There it is. Nothing special, just a gear. I don't know why they have to call these grains of infinity. Where's the infinite factor of this? Okay, so these are all the items to make the sag mill here. Void chassis, flint, dark steel, infinity bimetal gear, and the extractinator. And with this, I don't think we're gonna need the squeezer anymore, because now that we have the sag mill, we can crush and squeeze and do everything we need to get all of these extra materials. Although we are missing a capacitor. I'm gonna see if I can get this in first try. Copper. And then... Nope, I did it wrong. Okay, never mind. So now we just have to give it power. We're gonna have to redirect some power. Actually, no, wait. We have a solar panel. We have a solar panel. It's gotta be in direct sunlight. It's not working. This was a waste of resources, and this is the future, right here. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so power is flowing in here. I've never seen power indicated as purple in a redstone machine. It's always red. Interesting. Okay, there is the alloy smelter. Perfect. We'll just put it right next to its little brother, the sag mill. Actually, older brother. This one came first. So there's the interface for the alloy smelter. As you can see, we can place 3 different types of metals. They'll be fused together, and they'll make something new. Now the question is, do I make my storage system first by making glowstone, or do we move on to grains of piezoality? Let's do the storage system first, because we already have that pending. So first we're going to make some dullstone. Any type of stone combined with a fused alloy.
With the power of the alloy smelter, I was only moments away from getting my glowstone. All I had to do was crush the dullstone, and like that, glowstone dust.
I was left with 37 glowstone dust, which is more than enough, because now we're going to make the storage terminal. So just a little recap, so you remember what we're doing here. So we're trying to link all of these chests together so that I can access them in one inventory space via a storage terminal. Okay, this is an item interface. You have to take an item interface, place it on each chest. It's the little white block, and then you connect them with a logic cable. So all of these chests are connected. Now we need a place to actually view all of these connected chests. So that's where the storage terminal comes into play. To make the storage terminal, I first have to craft a display panel along with a static light panel and a bunch of stuff. It's kind of annoying. So I'm just going to craft these up, and I'll see you at the end when I have all of the items together. Took a little while, but I finally have all of the items to craft the storage terminal. I probably want to craft more storage terminals because having only one access point is a little annoying. So this is probably going to be the first of, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3.
4 glowstone, mineral glass, a display panel, and an output and input variable transformer. Okay, so now that I have the storage terminal, this is basically how it works. Just to test it out, I'll place this right here. Like that, we have access to all of our items from every single chest. I just wished it would sort them a little better, but say we want slime. Just type slime. Should be there. Oh, it's right there. I had to scroll up. There, you type slime and it comes up right there. So that's the beauty of it. Also, you can do item crafting. If you want to craft items without having to put down a crafting table, it does that. So it's a 2-in-1 crafting table and storage. Pretty simple. I don't know if it's as good as the applied energistics one. The only benefit I see here is that this one doesn't require power. The storage is basically set to however many chests you have connected. Unlike applied energistics where you have to make like hard drives, you want more space in this one, you just add more chests, and then you link them with more cables. So, yeah, that's about it. Okay, so we basically sped run through this chapter. There's only 2 things left to make. The grains of piezoality and an emerald. So, to make the grains of piezoality, we're going to have to use the pulsating crystals that we made earlier. These things right here. And all we have to do is put them in a sag mill. That's it. We'll take these, put them in the sag mill, and just wait for the magic to happen. And like that, we have grains of piezoality. I hope I'm saying that right. Maybe it's piezoality. I don't know. So somehow we have to turn this into emerald. It's as simple as putting the item in the furnace, and it gives you an emerald. Okay. Okay, well, we're only going to use 1. Honestly, I don't even know what we're going to have emeralds for. They have no use, as far as I'm aware. And like that, we have an emerald. Perfect. We've just completed the chapter, Age of Diamonds. Age of Diamonds is now complete. We are now more than halfway through. Next, we're going to work on a chapter called Big Power. And this, frankly, I think I've said this already, but this is where things get a little intimidating. Power has always overwhelmed me, at least power mods. And the first thing we have to make is Yorium dust, made inside of a pressure chamber from grains of piezoality. Okay, I think I'm going to first off, I'm going to open up this chapter by making more diamonds. I mean, we have 7 here, but doesn't seem like it's enough. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take some time to just convert these into coal blocks. There's probably a better way to automate this, but this is what we're doing for now. We're going to have to do it by hand. Yeah, this is about 4 or 5 diamonds. It's 9 blocks of coal for every diamond. So to make diamonds as quickly as possible, I'm just having to stand here reheating these iron blocks over and over again. You got to keep the machine warm, otherwise it won't separate the crude oil into the different types of diesel, gasoline, LPG, blah blah blah. Anyways, it's annoying because these eventually cool off. So I have a theory. Somewhere I read that if you apply any type of heat block, it will keep this running. Now, scorching iron is considered a heat block, at least until it cools down. But what doesn't cool down, as far as we know? Magma blocks. So if I place magma blocks here instead of iron, I won't have to constantly have to click these blocks over and over again to keep them warm. So let's try to make some magma blocks. Slime balls aren't a problem. It's the blaze rods that are. Blaze rods are just a nightmare to get. I mean, there are plenty of blazes. It's just I'm terrible at killing them before they kill me. So I think I have a solution to the problem of getting killed easily. Obviously diamond armor. But unlike iron armor, diamond armor, you see iron armor there? It gives you heating, makes you warmer. Diamond armor keeps you cool. I don't know how, but that's just how it works. So let's make some diamond armor. Okay, so it took some time, but finally 14 diamonds. That should be enough to get me a chest plate. Perfect. And we just need 1 more for the pants. Diamond leggings. Okay, we have a full set of diamond armor. I'm a little nervous, but it should go well. You know what? No, hold on. I gotta get my canteen. Close the door. Fingers crossed this works. For some reason, last time I used shield, it didn't block the flame charge. I don't know if that was because I made a mistake or if the shield just doesn't work. So, okay, here we go. First victim. Stupid skeleton. Jeez, everything hurts. We got 1 blaze rod. We're gonna need a few more than that. Okay, so we're going to make some potions of fire resistance. I am not going out into the battlefield, risking my life to farm these blazes. So, pretty simple stuff. We already have a means of making a brewing stand. We don't have the brewing stand. No! No, 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 no. The brewing stand is back at the village. I'm going to have to get a second blaze rod. Ah! Die! Okay, we got him. We got him. We're good. We have 2. Thank God. Oh, wait a minute. It's not going to work. I don't have nether wart. Can I get nether wart? There's no way to get nether wart without going into the nether. And for some reason, I'm assuming that the nether doesn't exist in this mod pack. But we're going to put that to the test right now by making a nether portal. It doesn't work. Okay. I don't know how we're supposed to make nether wart then. The first thing I have to do is make Yorium. It's made inside of a pressure chamber from grains of piezoality. So we're going to grind these up, make some grains of piezoality, and I think I'm also going to have to make more of this alloy stuff. It's going to take at least 3 bars of pressure. And like that, Yorium dust, which is going to be repurposed into a Yorium ingot.
I love the alloy smelter. With it, I was able to smelt a ton of Yorium dust in it, and with that, I had my ingots.
There's the Yorium, and on top of that, we finally have a reward. It's called the Extreme Book. I don't know if I like the sound of that. Usually Modpack books are overloaded with information. Will this be an exception? So far, it's not so bad. I mean, there's a few chapters, but nothing crazy. Oh, there it is. Okay, never mind. You know what? I don't need this book, because we have a guide, and as long as we stick to the guide, we're good. Next, we have to make nuggets. Simple enough. Okay, we have our nuggets, and now graphite dust, made inside the pressure chamber from powdered coal. You know what? We're going to make powdered coal the cool way now. I'm tired of using the squeezer. Let's just grind it up and see what we get here. Okay, so with the powdered coal, all we have to do is put it in the pressure chamber, and that's supposed to make graphite. So for 1 powdered coal, we get 1 graphite dust. With graphite dust, we're going to get a graphite bar, and that's for making reactor casings. Okay, it seems like we're going to need quite a bit of graphite. And here are the graphite dust that we have right here. We have plenty of graphite dust. Let's cook this up now, and that should give us our graphite ingot, thus getting us almost halfway through this branch already. Wow. Okay, so we have the graphite bar, and with that we have to make something called a reactor casing. Reactors can only be up to 5 by 5 by 5. We'll just eyeball it. Also, I'm going to have to make another room for the reactor. It's getting a little claustrophobic in here. Okay, the reactor blocks are pretty simple to craft. It is only 1 per crafting recipe. Okay, they are stingy. I don't want to have to make more than I actually need. Okay, so the question is, do I want to build on the surface, or do I want to keep building underground? I'm not going to lie, I like building underground, but having to tunnel is really obnoxious. Plus, I want to start building some structures. We're going to have to build on the surface. That actually makes me reconsider. I'm not sure if I want to now. Okay, so for this design, obviously, because we are in a desert, I'm going to have to build this out of sandstone. One of the most abundant resources. It looks nice. Plus, I kind of have an idea of what I want to do already. So I'm going to go to the quarry that I started, get some sandstone, and see where it goes from there. No pyramids, though. I already told you guys. No pyramids.
With a vein miner, I was able to collect tons of cobblestone. Also, be careful when you vein mine, because sometimes you have a small chance of getting yourself killed.
So I have a couple of ideas in mind. The design I'm going to base this off of is probably one of those old Egyptian tombs built into the mountain. I'm going to dig a tunnel and see where it leads. Okay, not that far. And honestly, I can take it. That's fine. We'll hollow it all out.
I mined a ton of blocks, and at the end, this is what the room looked like. Close, but there was still some work to do.
Where do they come from? Do they just spawn? I don't get it. I killed these pigs, and now they're back.
After scratching my head over the puzzling mystery of the random pig spawns, it was time to get back to work. I broke a ton of stone, mined a lot of sand, and began building the foundation of my new extension. I added some columns in the front, tried to go for an Egyptian vibe. I'm not really good at making Egyptian architecture. I mean, I've never actually attempted it, so you be the judge. I tried to incorporate some colors, used sandstone blocks, and I don't know if I nailed it. You'll see when we get to the end. This is the front facade, and as for the interior, well, I kept it true to the original design in the front. More sandstone, more lapis, more colored blocks. And this was the final product. This is the interior, and I think it looked pretty good.
As you can see, we finally have a room for our reactor. Not that we're going to use all the space, but, you know, it's still good to have the space. I decided that I was going to put the reactor right here at the end of the hall. It just made sense. This was going to be an entrance, but I thought, hey, why not just make this one big dedicated room? Even though I put stairs there, but like everything, it's all subject to change. So the reactor is going to be 5 by 5. And as you can see, I don't have nearly enough blocks for something like that. So we're going to have to make a lot of reactor casings. Okay, so I attached the hopper. Here we have some coal being funneled into the sag mill, and basically I'm trying to get as much of this coal dust as possible. Powdered coal, that way I can make more graphite. Graphite's taking a little while to make, but good things come to those who wait. Something called a grinding ball, and it says main output 135, bonus output 200%, power use 70%. I don't know what that does, but I'm going to try it out. And we get 24 of them.
I was going to have to make some upgrades to my pressure chamber. You see, I needed a lot of air pressure to finish this reactor. There were tons of items that needed to be crafted, and as you can see, I only had the frame partially complete. I also had to craft some expensive blocks, like the controller, fuel rod, and, well, the rest of the stuff. To get started, I had to make an advanced air compressor, and for that, I needed an advanced pressure tube. To assemble them, I was going to need a ton of machines, and the only way to put those machines together was by first producing plastic. That's right, I had to make plastic. So I whipped up together a new machine called a thermopneumatic processing plant. With this, I'd be able to make all the plastic I could use. To make plastic, you need 2 ingredients, the first one being LPG. I gathered some from the oil refinery and pumped it into the machine. Once it was added, it was time for the next ingredient, coal. You take the coal, you put it in the top slot, and there's only one thing left to do. Get an iron block, heat it, and once the machine is nice and warm, it produces liquid plastic. But for my purposes, the plastic is useless in liquid form. We need it to solidify. Thankfully, that's pretty easy. All you do is pour it out onto the floor and it becomes solid plastic. With the solid plastic, I now had the materials I needed to get my assembly line started. Now, some of the items I crafted with the plastic are just way too complicated to pronounce. Like, one of them was a pneumatic cylinder, and then there were transistors and capacitors. This was a PCB chip, and to make one we had to submerge it in something called etching acid. We also needed an etching tank for it, and well, to make the etching acid you had to combine mob drops in a plastic bucket. So yeah, I had to take my frustration out on the pigs because there was still a lot of stuff I had to do. After that was wrapped up, I made the etching tank to submerge the chips in the acid. Then in the pressure chamber, I made the acid itself.
We finally have the bucket of etching acid. We're going to pour it into the etching tank, like so. That's actually not that much. Okay, hopefully we can make enough. We have to make an empty PCB. It's way more than I bargained for. 2 redstone torches, 3 nuggets, and a plastic. Oh, there they are. Okay, next I'm going to make a capacitor, 2 gold nuggets, a slime ball, and a plastic sheet. 4 capacitors. I don't know if we're going to need all those, or maybe we'll need more, but yeah, things are getting really technical now. Okay, so you see this empty PCB? Well, we have to charge it with UV light, and to do that, we have to put it inside a UV light box. To craft a UV light box, well, everything seems pretty straightforward, except the PCB blueprint. For that, we need to trade 8 relic scraps in an item called an Amadron, something I also don't have. It's basically a tablet, and to make that we need a GPS tool, an air canister, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces of plastic. All to make a reactor. But, hey, honestly, I don't even know what to say. Yeah, let's do it. GPS tool, air canister, plastic sheets, and now we have an Amadron tablet. Wow, there's a lot of stuff in here. Oh yeah, the PCB blueprint. I took one YouTube video and I figured it out. Granted, the video was like 45 minutes long. I had to forward to the end and it was torture for my attention span. but I figured it out. I have to place the items in the chest. The currency. Then, I go to the tablet, click on the item I want. There we go. Place order. There it is. Oh my gosh! There it goes! I lost it. Oh, it's right there. My blueprint. Oh, thank God. Okay, I thought I was going to have to make my own drone. I have the blueprint. Now we can move on. Okay, we were making a UV light box. I have everything. I just need the redstone lamps. Thank God that's easy. Glowstone. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, we have the lamps. All we need are the ingots, which we do have. Okay, there it is. The UV light box. Takes pressure to power it up. This machine exposes empty PCBs to UV light, making them ready for processing and etching. It casts light onto the little chips that we have right here, these little green guys, and it makes them ready to put them in this etching tank where they're going to get dissolved in etching acid, I guess. Here we go. Oh my! That is working. So, as you can see, we have the threshold set to 100%. Oh, okay. So, the threshold is the cap for the charge that we want. Okay, we want it at 100. So, go back. I guess the higher we have it, the more success we have in the etching tank. So, if we have it at like 1%, you see the edge success chance change? 25%, 50%, 75%, 100%. So, we're going to shoot for 100. Depending on how long this takes, maybe we should go do something else. But let's make another one. This has taken a while. So let's get some more relic scraps and place an order on Amazon. I just realized that Amazon is like a funny rehash of Amazon. Am I slow for not realizing that earlier? Yeah, look, it's got the product in hand. Thank you so much. Alright, here's the second one. Okay, so there's something called a speed upgrade. It's one of the upgrades that we can apply to the pressurized machines. We need lapis, sugar, and a fluid tank of lubricant. I saw lubricant here somewhere. Okay. That one has liquid. How's it going to fill up this tank here? Oh, just like that. Okay. On top of that, I have to use lapis, sugar. Oh, we don't have sugar. Where do we get sugar from? Can we buy sugar on here? No, we cannot. We can also use a drop of glycerol, however you make that. Oh, new daily offer. Well, look at that. It's as if they knew what I needed. Let's order some sugarcane. We can buy nether wart. Yeah, we need that too. We need that too. You know what? Now that we have it, let's make a potion. Okay, we'll let those cook up, and now we need magma cream. I hope I have leftover magma cream. Never again will we be tormented by these evil blazes. Look how eager this blaze is to die. He has no idea that I'm making fire resistance potions. Shoot me. That's what I thought. There is nothing they can do to harm me now. We have conquered this area. Oh, I still can't touch them, though. That's fine. Oh, this is great. I think it's safe to say that we've conquered the blazes. Let's go check up on our chips. See how they're doing. This one's at 100. This one's at 97. This one is also at 100. I was going to make a sugarcane farm before I got carried away with the blazes. That's right. Okay, so sugarcane needs water, and I don't feel like making another farm outside. So we have all of this beautiful space here. Why not make this a nice little oasis? I mean, the ground is already primed for it. Now, I know there are more efficient ways of doing this. I'm not trying to do all that mental math right now. I've done it before. Where are they spawning from? I thought I illuminated this well. Okay, that's a problem. I don't have any potions against that. Don't explode. Not on my checkered floor. Something needs to be done about these mob spawns. I think I'm going to have to start placing way more torches, more than necessary. This is the little sugarcane farm right here. Take a look at it. Hopefully it will grow. As for this, we're going to take care of these. Okay, we got 3 here. We have 1 here and 1 that's almost done.
Let's put him in the etching tank and see how this works. Etching progress. Does it say how much fluid's being used? Can we raise the temperature and make it faster? It would seem so. Wow, it's taken a ton of seconds off of this progress. And like that, we have 3 unassembled PCB chips. I think they're chips. But, as the achievement says, still doesn't do much by itself. So, let's turn them into something useful. As for the etching acid, it didn't use that much. Only 20 millibuckets. So, we have a lot of etching acid. We'll be fine. Amadron's having a sale right now on smithing templates. So we're going to take advantage of that because God knows when we're going to get that. We're going through our money fast, but come on, smithing templates? Those are such a pain to get. Alright, come back with my smithing templates, little drone. Thank you very much. Okay, so just to recap. The reason we're doing all of this is because we want advanced pressure tubes. And the reason we want advanced pressure tubes is so that we can make ourselves an advanced air compressor. We are going to need an assembly platform, an assembly unit export, an assembly unit import, and an assembly laser. Anyways, it's one big assembly line. We have to put it together, and that's why we need the chips. Okay, so it's finally time to use the capacitors and the transistors. I think that's, yeah, transistor. This is to finish up our little PCB chips here. Wrong orientation. There we go. And this is the final result of all this work. A finished PCB chip. Oh my god, finally. Now we can actually get some progress going. This took forever. And bam, we have an assembly platform. Let's place this right here. And it doesn't look like anything so far, to be honest. 3 cylinders, a hopper, 2 ingots, and a finished PCB. Take that. Looks like a robotic arm. That's probably what it is. Machine unit number 2. There we go. And last but not least, we have to make an assembly laser. The final item I need for the assembly laser is red dye because I have to make red stained glass. And there's no way to get red dye except for one method, the catalog. It sells red dye. So I'm so glad we eventually had to use this for something useful. And only 1 relic scrap, that's not bad. Got the dye. Surrounded with the glass. Now I can finally make my laser. We have everything now. We have the platform, the export, the importer, and the laser. I don't know how this works though. Why? I don't know what we're supposed to do, how we assemble this. Part of an assembly line. Laser is an item on an assembly platform directly, not diagonally. I forgot there was one more thing we needed. An assembly controller. It's basically, well, the controller. It makes everything run. So let's make that. This is going to go here. It's on standby. So I'll put this coal in here. We wait for the pressure to rise. Just place this here. And now for the items. Okay, so while the pressure's building up here, we're actually going to need to make some items that it can take out and craft into the tubes. 20 pressure chamber valves. We'll just shoot for 32. Okay, so we'll put this in here. And now we just wait for it to get to 3 bars of pressure. Make that speed upgrade. Yeah, we can make that now. The sugarcane's grown, so we won't have to wait so long. We have the sugar. Now we need the lapis and the lubricant. Lapis here. Bam, 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 bam. In the middle, sugar in the corner, right? Wrong. Perfect. And we get to keep the bucket. We have the speed upgrades. Is this ready? Make more. Faster, faster. Okay, we have some movement. Slow movement. Honestly, as slow as it can go. What gives? It converted it into an advanced pressure tube. And now we're going to wait for the exporter to bring it back. We have an advanced pressure tube. Thank God. Moment of truth. We can finally make the advanced air compressor. The advanced air compressor basically makes more air and it can store more of it. So yeah, let's make it. We'll put in a security upgrade just in case we don't want it to explode. Just to backtrack, the reason we went through that whole ordeal to get the advanced pressure chamber, well, the advanced, the thing that makes the air. Anyways, we needed that because we were having a troubling time making these reactor casings. It just took way too long with a little pressure. Now that we've sped it up, we can probably make these at a way faster rate. So
First, we got to make these reactor casings right here. These reinforced ones. Like that? Just like that. Look at that. Okay. So we have a reactor casing reinforced. How do we make regular casings? This is, I've been dreading this because this is so expensive. We're going to have to make a block of diamond. While we seem to have sped things up, there's only one problem. These advanced air compressors, they overheat. I got a warning here saying that the compressor is running at suboptimal efficiency, 17%. Cool the machine down to under 50 degrees Celsius. The temperature is exceeding 300. How do we cool this down? We need a heatsink. Okay, I believe the heatsink was... How much heat can this take? A block that disperses heat into the air. It only connects to a block that it's on, not simple block. Oh, geez, it's turning red. It didn't really do much either. Am I going to burn if I touch this? Yes, I am. We need a vent. Basically, AC. We're going to put the vent on top of here. It's going to blow air onto it. And that should be enough. Air grate. That's what it's called. We need an air grate. Okay, make an air grate. Tube and 4 iron bars. There we go. Okay, the temperature is dropping. Yes, it's dropping dramatically. Look at that. It's dropping there as well. The only problem is that there's a current pushing me away. Thank God I learned this in Ocean Block. Here. Okay, it is under 89 degrees. What do we need it under? 50. Yeah, it's producing way more air now. So, I've hit another bottleneck. I have the diamonds and everything, but I need more coal. Only problem is that while I'm producing fuel, I have to constantly keep heating up these scorching iron blocks. Obnoxious. Thankfully, there is a machine that will always stay hot as long as it has a steady supply of air. That is the vortex tube. The vortex tube is able to split air into hot and cold components. So one side gets hot, the other side gets cold. That's all it is to it, really. So we're going to make vortex tubes. Pretty simple crafting recipe. Have all the materials here. We'll make about 3. Okay, so let's see what we're working with. So we have a cold side and a hot side. Let's experiment. Okay, so we have this, right? Just a little side note while I'm generating the pressure and stuff. I'm waiting for the tube so I can connect these things. Amadron is having a sale right now. 1 elytra. 1 elytra for a stack of relic scraps. I am not going to pass up on that offer. That is just too good to lose. I got to get my wallet. And we have an elytra. This is insane. We actually have an elytra. We didn't have to go to the end. Didn't have to kill the dragon. We just have it. We'll have air funnel in through here. And just like that. The temperature is rising. Temperatures are going up. So far, so good. Fuel is being generated. So this is basically going to run indefinitely, as far as I'm aware. Now, it said something about a heatsink. So I read somewhere that if you put heat sinks on them, it's supposed to suck the cold out. I have no idea how that would work. It needs to be compressed iron blocks. Try with this. Temperature's dropping. There we go. Maybe we just need more air pressure. Yeah, we're really low on air pressure. Let's make some more. Okay, excuse the mess. I have a solution to this problem. This air compressor here. Just like that. Downwards. Perfect. Now put the coal in and do the thing. Okay, let's try this. This should bring the temperature down. Ow! Why is this getting hotter? Here is the monstrosity I've created. Basically, what you're looking at, if I'm interpreting this correctly. So these are vortex tubes. See the blue side? That's the cold side. Red side? That's the hot side. One side is 437 degrees, the other side is 54. This blue side, it gets cold, really cold, and we want it to stay hot. Otherwise, it's going to diminish the heat on this side. We want this to stay hot because it makes the refinery controller run. This needs heat to run. Aren't heat sinks supposed to cool things down? Yeah, they are, but they are drawing the hot air in this room, and somehow that hot air is enough to sustain a temperature that keeps this side warm. It's a lot. It's a lot. I even confused myself there, but basically, this is what we need. Is it working as well as it should? I think so. Anyways, let's get back to the reactors. So we needed to make a reactor core, and for that we needed a diamond block. There it is, the reinforced reactor. Now, had I known this is what we needed for the achievement, I would not have wasted time making the basic reactor. We need to make the reactor control rod. This is the recipe for the control rod. We have that now. This is for the fuel rods. We have that. Passive forge energy power tap. Redstone block in the middle. Dust on each side. And there we go. We have that. And last but not least, the access port, which requires me to make another piston. Okay. This thing, which name I'm not going to read again. Okay, we have everything we need, as far as I'm aware, to make this reactor work. How do we assemble it? Okay, if only this would rotate a little faster. I replaced all of the basic casings with reinforced ones. Maybe that's the problem, because these are reinforced blocks. So why wouldn't the frame be reinforced as well? Thank God. Oh my God, that worked. What is going on here? Okay, we have a reactor. So how do we make it work? I guess we have to put Yorium in here. Oh, there's the fuel. Okay, so the Yorium is the fuel. And now we turn it on, and the core is getting hot. What happens if the core gets too hot? Generated 40 KFE. What's the capacity of the battery over there? 1 million. So the capacity of this is 1 million, is 810,000. But it's generating way more power for way less fuel. So I think that's a win. We've only used 0.90, only 1% of the fuel that we've added. And this is where we get the power from, I guess. Well, what do we have that needs power? Okay, so to test how effective this is, I'm going to make a mineral battery. So we have plenty of mineral, right? Remember this thing? Has the capacity to store 1 million power? Well, we're going to make one to see how quickly it can actually transfer power to the battery. To make these, it's pretty simple. All I need is a couple of blocks, 1 redstone block, and I think that's it. Flank the sides with the crystals. Like that, we have a battery. Now we're going to place it next to the reactor and see if the power flows. Set this aside for now. Okay, I have 1 energy pipe on me. And now all I have to do is toggle it. Let's see if it's full. And it looks like it's taking the power. That is a great rate of return. Okay. And while we're doing that, more fuel is being generated. I think the cyanide is the waste. You know what? We're wrapping it up here. It's almost the end, and so I'll just worry about this reactor later. I think it's time to explore a pyramid, especially because I plan on putting one in the thumbnail, and people are going to get mad at me if they don't see one in the video. Okay, if I'm going to go into a pyramid, obviously I'm going to need defenses, and the best thing I can muster is a diamond sword. Okay, here is the diamond sword, and then I thought I had a shield lying around here somewhere. And then the last thing to keep me safe in the pyramid, I'm going to need water. I can't heal if I don't have my water bar full. Let's go to bed, that way we can be rested for our adventure tomorrow. So it looks like the closest pyramid is a little off to the east. It's not that far. Now, one thing I remember is that the pyramids give you mining fatigue. So that's something I have to be mindful of. Maybe I should bring some blocks. Actually, no, I'll trap myself if I do that. Well, there it is. I can't help but wonder if anything in there is worth risking my life over. I mean, by this point, we can make diamonds and any type of ore we want. So, honestly, there better be something good in there to put my life on the line. Not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous. Where is the entrance to this place? Oh, there's the mining fatigue. Where's the front door? Don't tell me it's buried. Is this the front? Oh, it's gotta be. Okay, well, I got mining fatigue. This is completely buried. We'll try the next pyramid. Hopefully the next one has an entrance that isn't submerged in sand. Alright, there it is. I see it. Coming up ahead. Unlike the last one, this one has 2 towers. I wonder if that means anything in terms of the difficulty. We'll walk along the outside so that we don't get the mining fatigue before spotting the entrance. You know what? I can't even tell. Looks like the front entrance is also buried. Okay. Well, we're here already, and I'm not going to move to a different pyramid, so may as well mine while I can. Okay, well. There's one of the rooms. I feel like I should collect sand. How long does this last for? 18 seconds? Yeah, we can wait. I can already hear the spiders. I'm like praying that they're regular spiders. Why can I still hear them? Oh no, that's a completely different thing. I'm out of here. That spider is way closer than I thought, and it's enchanted. Okay. Here we go. So far, so good. Now, this is gonna suck if there are spawners in here that I have to break. Can I light this on fire? No, I can't. So far, I haven't encountered any hostile mobs, which is good. Oh, this tunnel caved in here. I'm a little scared right now. It's not as bad as I thought it'd be, to be honest. Maybe I have yet to see the worst of it. Okay, some books. I mean, not that I need them, but I'm not coming out empty-handed. Gold, which could be good as soon as I'm able to mine. Ugh, I should have come with more torches. That is a trap. And there are creepers in there. No thank you. We've mapped out this whole area right here. Let's backtrack through this collapsed entrance. Well, there it is. Yeah, I'm not going to deal with that. Just make myself a bridge. 2 blocks thick to be safe. Sometimes the enchanted ones, they can actually pull you down, so... Aside from the mob pits, this place seems to be pretty harmless. Hopefully I'm not speaking too soon, but everything seems to be checking out so far. Oh, we got watermelon slices, gunpowder, and a rabbit's foot. I love this banner. It's got a little, I think it's called an ankh. It's like a Egyptian symbol. The doorway looks like a serpent. See, those are the fangs in the eyes. You know what? I think this place is actually very safe now. It's not as bad as I thought it'd be. There's nothing here. Uh-oh. That sounds like an enemy. We got a lot of bread. Ooh, some honey. Honey does not provide hydration, though, and we got beetroot soup. I am running out of torches, and I hear zombies, or what are they called? Husks? Leave it to me to run out of torches right as I finally encounter the hostile mobs. This looks like the central chamber. Yeah, I'm in the middle of this whole room here. I'm in the center of the pyramid. Only problem is that I can't get to the bottom of this. This is tricky. This is probably treasure here, but with the mining fatigue, it's a little hard. So we're gonna have to find what's giving me the fatigue and handle it. It's getting louder in this direction, but there are no access points to get through. I didn't even see that these were here. I will gladly take a shield. You know what? I'm going to go back and make some more torches, and we'll see what's inside the rest of this place. I'll try entering from a different side this time. Okay, so this is a different side of the pyramid. Hopefully this one leads to a more active side. Oh. I opened a chest, and a potion was splashed, but nothing happened to me. Maybe I was out of the range, but I guess some of these are trapped. We'll have to be careful. Where are all the monsters at? You know what? I should be careful what I wish for. I must either be really lucky or unlucky, because if there are zombies there, maybe they're guarding something good. Oh my god. I just heard a bunch of redstone stuff go off. I don't know what that was. There's gotta be a way to get up to the upper levels. There was a room with scaffolding. Was that how you climb? That looks like an entrance. Oh my god. That's what it was holding up. Okay. Oh, get away from me! Okay, well, it's daytime. We've made little to no progress exploring this pyramid aside from getting some junk like string and bones. Let's try the other side. This side. What if we try mining up here? Alright, I have to be fast about this before I get the mining fatigue. Go, go, go. Oh, it was too late. We're going to make TNT, and we're going to blast our way in. I have 1 redstone and some gunpowder that I was able to get from the chests. I feel like I should have gotten more. Let's see if this goes anywhere. There it goes. And now we have a beautiful entrance into the pyramid. Upper level, at least. Okay, so far it looks like there's a lot more going on here. I'm just trying to light this whole place up with torches, that way I'm not blind and monsters don't spawn on me. Okay, so I've gone through a stack of torches just to illuminate this place. we have what looks like a redstone contraption here. I don't know if this is a hint. Could it be a map? You know what? There's only one way to go about this. I'm going to step on the pressure plates and see what happens. Oh my god, that was a bad idea. There's only one way I can think of ending this video. Just end it all. Had enough. I'm done. There we go. Blow up. Reveal the treasure. There is treasure. This better not be a trap chest. Ooh, a spatial sign? And a backpack. I'll take the backpack and a golden apple. Ender pearl, soulbound, more relic scraps, and another ender pearl. We unlocked the secret of the pyramid. Junk. No surprise there. Let's check out this redstone machinery. Who would have thought the pharaohs were good at redstone? Well, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see 200 days, leave a like. If not, I don't mind either. This mod pack was kind of complicated. I will see you next time. This has been Doublesal. Thanks for watching.